Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is Ralph Hayes Jr., RH Jr., reality chick, coming to you live over the internet through a series of tubes known as the boob tube we call YouTube, bringing you yet another broadcast, another sampling, another example of the debris and litter scattered along the information superhighway. A little something that we all like to call spleen squeezins. Hello, folks. It's been a while. I know I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm a highly excitable person. Oh, yeah. We're into this. We're live. We're rolling. We're recording. I don't know. Holy crap! It's actually working! Okay, let's see here. Bum. Talking about different things. La 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 la. Just random noises. No, I don't know what I'm going to do for music. I don't know what I'm going to do for background sounds. And I can't find what I was looking for. I was looking for some particular things on here, and they're hiding. Okay, turn up the header. I'm putting my talking head in the recording. Oh, yes. And now I'm going to, let's see if we can get anybody. Is anybody in channel? Am I in channel? I'm in channel. Okay, let's see. Got to share let's see, screens, applications, screens, applications. Okay. So why is it not? Okay, I'm trying to switch this over. Let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and takes it a minute for Discord to detect these things. Takes it a minute for it to detect some of the windows, so it takes a. Here we go. Would somebody come out and play? Would somebody come out and play on my radio show? I'm so lonely. Yes. Okay, let's see here. And now we switch over to OBS, which is showing a cartoon rendition of my head at the moment. And let's see, display capture. Bingo! It's now switched over. Everybody's watching my desktop, my art desktop. And the thing of it is, I still haven't figured out the music thing. Still haven't figured out the music. So right now, I'm letting a little. I've got a little rain playing in the background. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's coming over the. And it's not working right. It's stuttering. It's sputtering. I hate that. Is anybody out there? Mute. Stop streaming. Turn the camera. Disconnect. No, it's not it. I'm looking for the invite button. I'm typing it out. It's just live stream. Is there anybody out there? Anyone who feels, anyone who feels the same? Da, 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 da. I don't know the music. I feel so light. I want to invite y'all. Show the love, share love. Come in and see my channel. Come in and see my channel. Yay. So I have no idea. Let's see here. Focus. More. Let's see. Show non-video participants. Inbox. Where's the invite button? I cannot find anything on this computer anymore. I'm old and senile, and I got a memory like a sieve, and I've got my computer is a mess. I don't organize nothing. I can't organize anything. I've never been able to organize. I end up, no matter how I start out, no matter how my good intentions, I end up living in a pile. You know, everything just heaped up around me. I hate it. I hate this. Let's see. Okay, the rain noises are a little loud. Turn that down a little. Bookmarks. Let's see here. Search bookmarks. I keep I have this one thing as it's a dashboard for a starship. Basically, lets you sort of ground, sound effects, ambient sounds. And no matter what I do, every time I mark it, I try to make it prominent. I try to make it. Background noises, noise machines. Here we go. I think I found it. Oh, this is aggravating. Let's see here. Well, this is very cool and smooth in the background. Yet another channel I've found, and I'm marking, and I'll never find again. Is anybody out there? Is there anybody paying attention? Does anybody care? No, probably not. Okay, I'm sitting here. I'm probably sounding very, very, very quiet. Voice and video. I can get voice and video. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's audio settings. I'm not seeing anything. I can't figure out nothing. Okay. Is there anybody out there? Is anybody in the room? Is there... Have I really become so annoying that nobody wants to talk to me anymore? I don't know what's going to be in this recording. I'm going to be blunt with y'all. It's just one of the things that view grid. Put the grid on. One of the things that keeps me going, keeps me sane, is having an audience. When nobody seems to want to. Can't remember how to do this. Trying to set up the. And my mind just went blank. I can't remember how to draw the frameworks. Oh, there we go. There's a tool. Scare the poop out of me. My brain just stopped working all at once. I've reached a point where I've just about given up on any idea of keeping the pages regularly shaped, because every time I consult information on exactly how wide and how high is a professional comic book supposed to be, I get a different result. Nobody thinks uh, and some of the things I do these pages in illustration form, and I don't know. I'm just a little scared of illustration, custom comic. Now get this. This is I have B5 size. I have no idea what B5 size is. I have no idea what half of these settings are. I'm just a blind man limping along. I don't know. I don't understand the tools I use. I don't understand. Let's see, view grid. Look at that. The grid doesn't even match up with the presets. Bugger me with a rope. Let's see here. View grid settings. There we go. I think I finally figured out. This is what this page is supposed to be like. It has the boundaries and the barriers and I don't know. Sitting here looking at me all the time. Didn't know. You're drawing your comic pages wrong. You're doing it wrong, darn you. Let's see. A very narrow page. It's a very brief page, view grid. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. This is a picture is worth 1,000 words. It can be as much a curse as a blessing, because if you're writing, it takes forever to describe something. But if you're drawing, well, think about it. The average comic book page represents about 3 or 4 seconds of action. Unless it's really dialogue heavy, and then it's maybe a minute of conversation at most. It's one of the colossal drawbacks of it is that you go to a movie, you get you sit there for 5 minutes of dialogue, you get 5 minutes of dialogue. You go to or you get 5 minutes of action, you get 5 minutes of action. But you pick up a comic book, it takes as much effort to make 5 minutes of it takes more effort, really, actually, to make 5 seconds of really intense action. 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 5 seconds of really than it does to make 5 minutes of conversation. And if you got a story you're trying to tell, 25 pages of it, if it is a typical American comic book. And making it so that the whole story fits, so that there's not too much of, oh, it's a horrible balancing act. It's incredibly difficult. And some days it's just too much to put up with, you know. Oh crap! I'm going to spend 3 days working for 5 seconds of the story. Completely, buggered up this. Oh, give me a minute. Uh, let's see. Trying to is the old gag that the inside of the wizard's tower looks larger than the outside. Operative word being looks. I've got a general idea of how that's going to look, but not nothing specific yet. It's been a kind of rough week. Mood's sort of been in the tank a lot. I spend way too much time day to day desperately trying not to think about my circumstances or my situation, because to dwell on them, uh, there's so many, let's see, so many things that need fixed or paid for, or 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 that need to be done, or need to be or that need to be looked into, that I don't know how to look into them. They're just I got dropped from the PIP program, power percentage of income payment plan for my electric bill. And I applied to them. I gave them all the paperwork that they asked for, and apparently I didn't have the, whatever I gave them was insufficient. I mean, I'm not a lick richer than I was last year, but they decided to drop me from it. Probably because I didn't give them the I didn't stroke the right button or something the right way, and
Oh, that's frustrating.
yeah. So I have no idea what my next electric bill is going to look like.
Shoot.
It's been $90 a month every month for the past year or so, and I've gotten kind of used to that, and I'm
Okay,
terrified to imagine what's going to.
okay.
So
I'm too used to splitting it between my roommates. So I was like, that seems rather high. No, no, it's that's split between four. Anything.
yeah, $90 is rather high, but I live in a trailer, and I've explained
Which
that
only
before.
makes it worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and the trailer's falling apart. The trailer needs to be shoved into a landfill is what it needs, and replaced with a new trailer. But let's see, from front to back, everything needs fixed. From front to back, top to bottom, everything. Floors, ceiling, walls, doors, windows. All the way down to the stair steps out the back door. And and this is not going to happen with me living here. It's not with me being the one footing the bills. And there's so many things that if I was physically fit, I could probably tackle myself. Okay, right now I've got a bird in my house.
Oh shoot. What kind of bird?
It's a little sparrow.
Oh.
It's a little female sparrow, a little brown sparrow.
Oh.
I assume it's a chicken, sparrow. I always the little brown ones are the females, isn't it?
Uh,
It's a sparrow. It's a little small Tweety bird. A little small Tweety bird, and it got in. What it is that this place is rotting apart. I'm not kidding you. Uh, the windows in my laundry room. One of
yeah.
them I had to the I didn't know it because I had stapled cardboard sheets over the windows, for lack of anything else, for to, help insulate,
Yeah.
and glass pane came out of one of the windows. I
Oh.
managed to retrieve the glass pane. It's all in one piece. It just slid down the wall.
Right.
But I had a wide open window with nothing but a piece of cardboard over it, and a
Oh.
bird flew in through it. And so I'm last night I managed to go back there, waddle my way back there a screwdriver and a pocket full of screws, and I sort of jerry rigged it so that the glass pane is holding in place, as long as nothing extremely windy comes along. and I need to get some stuff to repair it. I need to get some insulation foam, the foamy spray stuff that fills up cracks and junk, and get a couple of
Yeah.
cans of that, and
Yeah, we see a little bit of that at Home Depot.
yeah, buy a little bit of that. Go around, I need to find a way to fix that. I mean, the I can't begin to describe the state of disrepair. Uh, this place was already, pretty shot when I got it, and I am no Mr. Home Depot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's gone downhill since. So it hasn't exactly improved with age. I've got,
Yeah.
the floor. I've got panels of plywood lying down over my floor because even when I first moved in, there were already holes in the floor that the previous tenant, she had just flopped down some plywood over it and left it. And I don't have the tools or the skills or the money or the anything, to rip up an entire floor in a trailer and replace it. So I did the same thing. I've got most of my floor is covered with huge panels of plywood, thanks to the help of some local people. God bless them, who found out how badly screwed up things were, and they came out here and they plunked down some plywood in my hallway and in my kitchen and in my living room. So now the holes are covered. Of course, that doesn't do anything for any kind of rot or anything. It's a stopgap measure, which will have to last me until I die. So, yeah. Anyway, I've got the window jerry rig, but I still got the bird in here. And I can't, I'm in no shape to chase a bird up and down the length of a trailer. So I'm like, I'm going to wait until it warms up a little bit outside, and I'll leave the door open and hope the bird finds its way back out. Either that or I'm going to have a new pet.
Mail.
Either that or I'm going to have a new pet.
Yeah. Trained to carry your postage.
Cheep, cheep, what's that? My new pet.
Why is it carrying a coconut? Oh wait, is that a swallow?
Yeah. Flight speed of a laden swallow. I don't know. Oh my. And I start thinking about that. I start thinking about how that lovely computer you guys sent me, and when something breaks in your hands, the first thing you think is, "What did I do?" And I can't help still thinking that because I didn't do anything different. I just plugged everything in, and then it decided to commit Harry Carey, and the motherboard apparently went. So, and I'm saying, and I started thinking about that, or I started thinking about my physical condition. I started thinking about just
Wonder what I do because I don't know what I did. Usually because it ticked me off so much.
you want to know how bad this is? Let's put it this way: half of the reason I'm nervous about climbing into the shower is because I have to climb up, get in. I have to step up on a cinder block, climb over the side to get in to take a shower. The other half is that I'm worried that one day I'm going to step on there and the boards underneath
Or give way.
are going to finally give away. This trailer, this shit. It needed Mr. Homemaker, somebody, it needed Tim the Toolman Taylor to move in. It didn't need me. It needed it it the older I get, the more things the more things it needs done to it, and the less I can do them.
Yeah. Of course, with me, it's like I can do them. I just
Don't give a crap. Yeah.
something like that. I can do it later.
Short of me someday, short of me winning short of me getting like a huge inheritance from a dead rich relative I didn't know I had, uh, and buying a new, well, even just buying a new trailer would be.
It'd be better than trying to get like contractors to just fix it. I think it's from the sounds of it, it's past the.
It's outdated. It was made before most of the uh, regulations on mobile homes were instigated. If you follow what I'm saying, it was made in 1971. The laws governing the quality control of how a manufactured home or portable home were to be built didn't kick in until 1976. So, yeah, my housekeeping. I don't have housekeeping. I have trash everywhere. I have junk everywhere. I've got a stack of broken office chairs sitting in one corner of my living room. You know why? Because I'd buy a chair. Oh, this thing's rated for 400, 500 pounds, and 3 or 4 months later, crack, something in it would break. Two or three of them stacked there, and I can't get them out because I haven't got the physical strength to carry it out. And with when the legs the way they are, I'd worried about injuring myself trying. It's infuriating. Uh, I would give anything to go back. Just, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 years. I'd give just about anything to go back at all. But I would love to just because I'm 50 years old and sitting on the cumulative pile of 50 years of bad decisions. And just sitting here, I'm lying in a hospital bed right now. Hospital, yeah, they brought it in for me. It's covered by my Medicaid, and put it in my living room, replace the bed I was lying on, sleeping on before, and okay, it's just basically killing me slowly. Just I mean the people that come in and check on me. I mean they have people. My Medicaid has people, hospice people, come in to check on me to make sure I'm still I'm still breathing, and they've been trying to why don't you have you looked into maybe moving into one of these low income apartments? And I'm like, I would not even know. Well, one, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. Two, if it went anything like my attempts to apply for Social Security, it'd be clown college time. It'd be a complete disaster. Three, I have no idea how I would move in. And four, even if I did move out of this and into a nice, comfy, uh, uh, into a nice, comfy, adjusted income housing, or even into a assisted living. They've talked about that too. Assisted living. Uh, I would still be stuck with this. I would still have to find some way to pay off. I'm I've I'm perpetually behind on. I don't even want to think about how far behind I am on my lot rent for this place. And then when I move out, still got to get this place hauled away. Everything packed up, and shipped off or thrown away, and this is a monumental task for somebody who's got like tens of thousands of dollars stashed away someplace. It's not for somebody who's painted themselves into a corner like I have. It's and this is what I was talking about because this all week my mood's been in the tank because every time I sit down, let myself think about anything. I start getting frustrated and desperate and depressed, my anxiety goes through the roof, and just and I still don't do anything. That's the thing of it.
Yeah.
It's let's put it this way. I keep a box of jumbo-sized garbage bags next to my bed, so that every now and then I get up, clean up some of the trash around me. And it's never done. I've got shelves all around. I've got shelves all around me piled up with stuff. It's not been sorted, not been put away. Just piled up there. I got stacks of things that were supposed to be shipped out or mailed out or gotten rid of. Just
Next line is not going to be at all helpful, I realize, but there's also the fact that when you do get it done, it's like next day, it's like, oh, it's back.
uh, it's not even that. It's that I've had a couple of times. I've had people. I've hired people, or I've had charitable people come in and do it, and they come in, and just hauled away tons of junk and cleaned up, and within a few weeks, within a few months, back to square one.
Yeah.
It's really it's really making me hate myself sometimes, and I've gone bedridden because I'm trying to get my legs due to lymphedema. I've gone bedridden to try and shrink my legs down, get them down to a manageable size. I've been uh, stuck in this hospital bed just about for what's it been now? 2 months. I was hoping that by Christmas time, which is now, that my legs would be, they'll never be normal again, but that they'd be down to, a size where I was mobile again, and more mobile, and that I could, start tackling everything around me. But it's not much better than it was before. It's, I didn't start this broadcast to spend all my time whining about my own condition or my own circumstances. I was uh, what this was. I was trying to start off making an excuse. The reason I haven't updated anything in weeks is because it's just been a kind of different bull crapping about the situation. So yeah. Okay. Let's see here. I drew this on the wrong layer. There we go. That's better. Okay. Let's see. Pen tools, pen tools. View grid. View takeoff. Grid. Do not snap to grid. Do you see the artwork? Is the artwork showing up? Are you seeing this? Is it working right today?
Yep, all green lines.
Green lines, yay. Green lines, yay. La 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 la, green lines, yay. La 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 la, green lines, yay. I don't know.
Cartoon Network commercial, like where it's describing the colors of all things, it goes, and
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
there's this old Cartoon Network commercial, I think, about it, is like listing all the shows, and like they're describing like a bunch of the characters, and the blue Smurfs, and Smurf pops up, and TV reaches in and adjusts himself.
Yeah. Yeah. What color was he after you adjusted it? Green. Yeah. Oh. Oh, did you know that the Smurfs were the first people to come up with the Smurfs were the first ones to have a zombie apocalypse? Really. It predates. It was originally the Smurfs were called the Smurfs, and they were a comic book. And this storyline predates Night of the Living Dead by years. They redid it for the animated show as the Night of the Purple Smurfs. What it was is that one of the Smurfs got bitten on the tail by this little purple fly, and he turned purple and he started running around yelling, Get up!" And he would, if he caught up with another Smurf, he'd bite them on their tail, and they would turn purple and run on, Get up! And in the original comic book, though, they turned black. You can see why they changed it. Of course, it was a black and white comic, so But anyway, it was the first idea of a zombie plague, because the climatic battle, they had all the last few blue Smurfs fighting off the purple Smurfs with spray bottles full of the cure. The problem was is that the cure wasn't fast enough. They'd cure a Smurf, and then another purple Smurf would run up and bite them again. And eventually, it ran down. I don't know how it in the comic, but in the TV show, they it ended with Papa Smurf being the last one bit, just as he was mixing up another batch of the curing potion. He starts going ganap ganap, goes berserk in his lab, which explodes, sending a cloud of the cure over the entire village.
Oh.
So there you go. And the day is saved. Da 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 da. But they predated. The comic book, the original Smurfs story predated Night of the Living Dead by years. Maybe it ought to be called a plague apocalypse to be more accurate. You know. And I put this on the wrong layer. Typical. Well, let's see if I can probably cut it and paste it. And the damn thing was anti-aliasing to boot. Had the wrong settings. I swear, every time this thing updates, the settings change. Hate it when they do that. Oh, we see you've made personal adjustments for your use. Let's change a few of them without telling you. Oh, for My Hero Academia fans, the manga has finally gotten to the point where they reveal who the secret traitor is.
I read that bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It was not. It was not the Invisible Girl. Everybody was going. It's definitely Hagakari. It's definitely Hagakari. She's invisible. That makes her sneaky. She wasn't there in that picture. Of course, she wasn't there in that picture. She's invisible. But turns out that it was Ioma, the kid with the naval laser. Yeah, it turns out that he was he was born quirkless, just like Izuku. But his parents were rich and influential, and they wanted to give their son the best life, and they were horrified to discover that their child was Henry. So they followed rumors of someone who could give quirks to other people, and they tracked down All for One. And he made a deal for them. He would give their son a quirk, but they would have to. He would have to ask them for a favor or three later. They basically indebted themselves to it. Ioma grows up not knowing this, but it turns out that's the reason that his naval laser, gave him such stomach pains, because his body wasn't adjusted to it. But that was in retrospect a big clue, because just like Izuku, he was not his body was not adapted yet to the power that was the quirk that was put in him, and basically he'd grown up, and then when he hit 15, All for One contacted him with a psychic message. Turns out that All for One can mentally contact anybody he's given a quirk to. Speak to them, and he was informed that Ioma was informed that he was going to be the League of Evil spy. He was going to go apply to UA, and All for One wanted him to be the League of Evil's spy.
Or his parents get it.
Yeah, or because he had no choice, because once All for One had given them power, is the psychic message was proof. All for One could track them down anywhere, find them anywhere, and they would die. And so Ioma did what he said. The latest anime, he basically, the latest manga, he broke down, and it was the Invisible Girl who discovered him crying in the woods, and he confessed to her and to Izuku, who showed up, about his involvement, and they take him and his parents in, and uh, the last bit of the story is that Izuku is saying it's bullshit that somebody should be labeled a villain for the rest of their lives because they commit a crime. He says Ioma, he had been by their side through so many things. He could still be a hero if he wanted to be. Now, and well, anyway, the thing that would get me is that I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I'm so glad it wasn't the Invisible Girl. I never agreed with that assumption that it was the Invisible Girl that was the traitor. And I thought about it, and I said yeah, I could see Ioma. Ioma makes more sense. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, but why? For the life of me, I can't really put my finger on why it is. I hadn't put these little puzzle pieces together any more than anybody else had, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why that it struck me that Ioma made the better turncoat than Hagakure did. And I'm sitting here still trying to puzzle it out. What it is about the characters that gave me that bias. Throw some thoughts in the air there, if you have any, about that topic.
So I was reading the TV tropes thing on it, and it was pointing out that it makes sense once, or it's either TV tropes or someone else, an article, that that Ioma, however you pronounce the name, was having
Troubles.
Sort of, troubles with his quirk, and the only other person that really had, two people, had trouble with it was, it's been such a long while since I saw it. Cloven Cold.
Who was?
Cloven Cold. What's his name?
Todoroki.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have trouble with.
He was misusing it. That's what was creating the problem.
He wasn't having trouble with his power. It's just that he refused to use the flame side out of spite against his father.
But that was causing him to
get
himself.
Yeah, he was trying to he'd get frostbite if he went too long.
Yeah, like I said, that's because he was misusing it, not because it was malfunctioning or anything. The only other one was the guy that fries his brain every time he overdoes it.
Yeah.
Everyone else usually, no, never mind.
All the characters, they have limitations and drawbacks to their powers, but the Izuku and Ioma are the only two where it actually
really hurts.
It hurts them. But even Izuku is getting better at it.
Yeah.
Because his body is adjusting to it. Dropping all these gruesome little bombs. And by the way, one of the things the principal Nezu, at this big confession where Ioma is brought forward as the traitor, he comes to a conclusion with the other researchers with him that they don't have to worry about Ioma exploding. It turns out that there was another person that got a power from All for One, and he put a time limit. He apparently puts a time limit in some of the powers he hands out. Makes them eventually blow up, explode like a bomb, and tragic death at some point in the story. But again, spoilers. Skipping ahead several stages there. But
Now,
anyway, but like I said before, I hadn't put any of these puzzle pieces together. I figured Ioma's problems was similar to the ones that all the other students had. Uh, every one of the students has some sort of uh, problem or deficient with their power. The kid who eats sugar to get super strong. If he eats too much sugar, the more sugar he eats, the longer his super strength lasts. But the more sugar he eats, the dumber he gets, and also he crashes hard afterward.
there's what I was thinking was going to happen.
Then there's the hot and cold kid, with his issues with he his cold half freezing the other half of his body, and
A built-in, way to deal with that.
yeah, obviously, but he's it's still a problem for him. He has to be aware of it. He also has to be aware, like his father, of dehydration.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so on is all the all.
Speaking of, actually,
Yeah,
so I know how you, well, like everyone, rightfully thinks of Endeavor. No,
is a
first
douche
half.
waffle.
What do you think? What do you think of his redemption arc?
It's not very satisfying. I think it's an American thing. We expect somebody who has a turn of heart to have to go through some. They have to bleed for it a little. They have to. They have to have that road to Damascus moment where I mean, like Paul, struck blind
Right.
by the
You,
but and they have to go through an ordeal to realize, holy crap, I'm an a-hole. But
I actually kind of liked it because it reminded me of a historical figure, Thomas Becket.
I
You
don't
know
know
that
Thomas
story?
Becket. I don't know about Thomas
He
Becket.
was an English priest, or he became an English priest. He was a friend of
Yeah,
Henry
yeah.
II, like a close friend,
Yeah.
nobility of English nobility, and Henry wanted to kind of gain control of church lands, so he appointed his friend, how they did it back then, as the Bishop of Canterbury, I believe it was. One of the
Oh,
English
yes. Well, I don't
Thomas
think that really
Bishop
compares.
converts. And because of the appointment, he has this, kind of sort of, not like it because of hardship, but because of the responsibility, his own road to Damascus moment of, this is something I believe in now, and it leads to tragedy, unfortunately, because now he's working against King Henry, and causes the line, is there no one that would rid me of this troublesome priest?
Yeah.
Which
Well, I don't
makes
think
the
that
Archbishop.
I don't think that very compares to the Archbishop of Canterbury. Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
Endeavor
so
and
I
oh,
just
no, no, no,
saw,
no, 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 come on,
oh, sorry.
come on.
Sorry.
Endeavor was a wife beater and a child abuser. Let's not soft soap this. And he just comes in one day. Oh well, I'm going to try and be a better father now. You know, because why? What motivated his change? Nothing. He just say, oh well, this isn't working for me. I'll try being, a half decent non-asshole for a while. And he doesn't pay the piper, is what I'm saying. He doesn't pay the bill. He doesn't face consequences. You know,
Now with
he doesn't get that. You know how you get an Arkansas mule to change direction?
wow.
You take a
No,
board,
no.
you take a 2x4, and whack it between the ears. Then you point it the way you want it to go.
He is getting that with his first son, who's what's his name?
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's the way I feel about Dragon Ball Z. They had this one character, what, a Vegeta.
Well, that
The
was
the
like
guy started
decades.
when the guy was when the character was originally introduced. He was killing entire planets full of people for shits and giggles.
Oh,
And by the a few hundred episodes down the line, he's just our jerk ass friend. He wiped out entire planets for laughs, but he's better now.
worse like in the next series because he's more of a hero than Goku by that point, but that's like decades later.
Yeah, well, screw him.
Because
You know,
where
a man who changes past that easily, he's got nothing. He could
well,
just as
like
easily change back. It's part of what I'm thinking. But what
for
I'm saying,
well for Vegeta it wasn't easy because like I said that's decades later.
yeah, well,
Where he goes
still screw
through
him.
several moments of oh I messed up, oh I'm getting beaten down. Like it only takes until like after the Boo where he goes for one
Yeah,
more
but he
fight
never
with
reaches a.
Goku.
He doesn't. He never has a point where he looks at the blood on his hands and says, "Oh my God, what have I done?" Never even that.
There's a
No,
couple.
no guilt or shame over the lives he ended. On a whim just for his own amusement. No, no, nothing. And this is what my issue with Endeavor is that he spent years abusing his children, abusing his wife, and just basically being. And apparently, it's canonically he's incredibly violent and destructive, even as a pro hero. Uh, it's I don't know if it's fanon or not, fanon or canon, but it's basically assumed that when he goes out and brings in crooks and bad guys and villains, that they usually come in the intensive care ward, if not the morgue. This is a man who beat down his own son for disappointing him. You can't expect him to be, uh, you can't expect much better out of him when he's dealing with villains. But, what's his cause for change? He sees All Might retire, and so his goal of being number one or having his son be number one, is gone forever. He's like, oh well, gee,
On a
maybe
silver
you know
platter
maybe
rather
maybe
than
I should just try being a decent parent for a while, and understandably, his older kids aren't buying it.
yeah, and he realizes that.
But he never had one moment where the cost would he never had that slap in the face moment that you desperately want.
Oh,
You want a rotten person to you want what goes around to come around. And basically, he's pulling a Karma Houdini. It feels like he's pulling a Karma Houdini because
the
he's
problem is his I messed up moment was actually the start of his descent. Because that when his first son immolates himself was
uh,
a piano wire snapping. So
yeah. Well, what? Well, and he didn't change a thing. Look at what he
Or,
did to his
no,
youngest
no,
child.
that's when he. Well, that's when he went worse. Was he just gave up and went cocoa bananas?
Yeah, he ran his son into the ground, thought he'd killed him, and so he decided to double down with the rest of his family.
No, because
Screw him.
the first son was like he started that and then realized, oh shoot, his powers aren't his powers are like worse than mine. Stop, and actually said, well, what apparently was happening was he was trying to push his son away so he wouldn't try to emulate him, so thus not immolate himself, and that didn't work. So after that,
Sounds like a BS, but sounds like a BS ass pull. The writer of My Hero Academia, he's got an interesting thing where he writes characters that are basically horrible jerks, and then pulls out a Freudian excuse, 30 issues in. Oh well, I didn't mean to make him that much of an asshole. Like Bakugo. Uh, a horrible bully, exploding hands. I mean, you thought your schoolyard bully was a nightmare. Picture one with exploding fists.
Schoolyard bullies usually were actually small.
But anyway, you get my point. This kid, he was entitled, he was privileged, he was praised, he was cosseted. He was allowed to get away with things that would have gotten any other kid in a real school straight to juvie. He routinely beat up a quirkless kid. That's like going into school and deciding you're going to pick on the kid in the wheelchair.
The kid threatened my life, and the
he told the
candy, but yeah,
he told the kid, to go jump off a roof. Yep. Goading somebody to go kill yourself. That's enough to get your tail jerked into a knot today. Just offhand. I think it's has some. I think that the reason that's not paid more attention to is partially Japanese culture is just. Oh well, Japanese culture is horrible. There's no two ways around it, because especially their school culture. Because one of the things, the schools, if a kid gets picked on, it's not just one or two bullies. The whole class goes for it. One of the things they do is that if they decide they don't like somebody, the kid will come in and they will find spider lilies, in a vase on their desk, a framed picture of themselves with a black ribbon around it. Basically, a spider lily is a flower of mourning in Japan, and basically, they deck out the kid's desk like it was for a funeral for somebody who died. And basically, they're telling the kid, "Go kill yourself." I think this may sound horrible, and it's probably horrible. It's in the aspect it is horrible. Is that I think that World War II ended too soon, because this was a culture that this was a society that was every bit as monstrous in its own way as Nazi Germany was, and one with much deeper poison roots. That people who talk about we should have just gone in and done a land invasion instead of dropping that horrible nuke. Let me put it this way: one of the things they had done, the Japanese people, they were instructing their school children, having them sharpen wooden stakes, and instructing them when they saw an American soldier to run forward and stab them in the gut.
That would have been.
because they figured that die honorably, and they took their own sons and put them in planes loaded with bombs and used them as human guided missiles. And
Yeah.
this was this this whole Shinto uh, samurai code of honor thing has been festering in the heart of Japan for a long time. It's an honorable tradition. Yeah, there are some points of honorable tradition. There are points of honorable tradition in just about any society, just by accident, if nothing else. But the cumulative result, a society where it was a caste society where some people were less human than others, and where your worth to the community was worth more than your individual life as a human being, and where people of a certain caste, samurai could test out a new sword by taking off the head of the nearest peasant, and nobody could say a thing. And this was the foundation on which the modern World War II era society was built up. They had adopted Western technology, but at heart they were still an incredibly barbaric culture.
I
We
guess
think
they
we
were.
we think of barbaric as being primitive and shaggy and running around in animal skins, going, "Arr, arr, arr." But no, it's barbarism can have just elegant uh, trappings built up around it, like a poison egg decorated by Fabergé. Picking their nose with a silver spoon, so to speak.
More like they were pretty sure if like the Atlantic invasion happened, there wouldn't be a Japanese people.
Yeah,
Like not culture, I mean culture.
Japan would have, they would have survived. The German people survived. People survive. That's what they do. But Japan would have been a wait. You've seen pictures of what happened to Europe. It was a blasted wasteland, and Japan would have been the same way. But the thing of it is that they came in. We dropped two nukes on them. They lost a couple of cities, and they suddenly, well, gee, maybe peace is an option after all, and they surrendered. So for the
As were
most part, the a lot of like America, most of the war didn't come to their shores. They were defeated, but their culture and their uh, ideology was left intact. Germany, on the other hand, got reamed out with a roto-rooter, smashed to pieces, and then the leftovers ripped in half.
their cities were kind of flattened up by that point though, but yeah. Um
You get my point. Is that they bled. They suffered the horrible consequences. Japan avoided most of the consequences, and some of the things Japan did would make even the German Nazi scientists blanch. Most of the research they did on highly contagious diseases was from experiments that the Japanese performed on prisoners of war. Just
1750 something was it?
the what was it? The Bataan Death March, the Rape of Nanking, absolutely brutal way they treated prisoners of war, because their culture, uh, deep in that poisonous aspect of it, is that if you surrendered, you had dishonored yourself, and thus were subhuman.
Where it's all like the Americans took one island and like all the Japanese populace of the island kind of just walked off a cliff.
Yep.
right in front of the soldiers.
And well, they've changed a lot over the decades. Thank God that they had enough sanity left to surrender. But
Like I said, the thing was that was the emperor that did that. The generals that were technically emperor was technically a
in charge,
figurehead,
but
and the generals that were running it weren't planning on surrendering after the second one. It was the emperor that just, who was the only one that could override them, finally did.
yep, it tells you something that it took two bombs. It took two cities disappearing in a ball of flame and light before these people uh, even contemplated surrendering.
Like I said, the actual leaders weren't even contemplating that even then. They were right there.
But getting
Well.
way off getting way off the original topic, which was uh, you know they look at these. This is why they don't. They've got this collectivist culture still at the roots, and they still got a lot of lingering uh, illness, for lack of a better term, and it is. This is why the writer of My Hero Academia, he's they people tend to downplay the way Bakugo acted, the things Bakugo did. We recognize those things now. Our society has its own problems at the other end of the stick, at the other end of the scale, but we at least recognize that what this kid did was monstrous. He took a kid who was literally, by the standards of his time, handicapped, and tormented him, and told him that he ought to kill himself, and hope that he had a better life, a better luck in his next life. And Bakugo. Uh, it took a couple of seasons. He finally had a moment where he broke down after he was kidnapped by the League, and they tried to turn him. And afterwards, he had that fight with Izuku out in a back alley, just completely losing it because his entire worldview had been shattered. He'd spent his whole life being told that he was the best, that he was the greatest, and being told that whatever he wanted to do, he could do. And then a bunch of villains come out and tell him, "Hey, you're just like us. You're one of a kind. You're just our type." Which didn't do his ego any favors. And the thing of it is, he didn't reject the idea of being a villain because villains were evil. He rejected the idea of being a villain because villains, in his eyes, were losers. All Might beat him up all the time. They had to be losers.